on the following podcast are those exclusively of the host and not Chutan Culture as a whole. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Chutan Culture podcast with Donna.
Just take away the fucking damn things already.
G, very hard journalism research, and I went to Walmart to go get ice cream. And Dom.
The graham cracker ended up somehow getting impregnated by the tomato.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Phil Nelson, and you're watching 210 Culture, the best motherfucking podcast in the city.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 210 Culture podcast. I'll make my own sound effects because we still don't have a soundboard again.
What?
So,
Get it.
like always, we are San Antonio's magazine best podcast of the city for 2020.
Wow.
Get it.
And of course, this episode is sponsored by Texas Beer Day Cartel. I'll run down the caps here. Southside Craft Soda. I think that's Southtown 101. No, that's Pub Sports Radio right there.
Yep.
And then Southtown 101. And then the new cap from Texas Beer Day Cartels with the patch, which is the one that Dom's wearing.
Right here.
Yeah.
And of course, you're listening live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter.
What's up, guys?
I think we're doing Twitch too. And then Pub Sports Online and on the Pub Sports app. So we are everywhere.
Yes.
And I'm Donna. Thank you.
And I'm Dom.
And I'm G, because I don't think I said in the beginning either. So we
It's
just
okay. We get caught up in ourselves.
have to get out of all the important stuff. And of course, our guest for today's episode, because we are back to having guests again,
Yay,
and not just our old
finally.
friends that want to come back on
Finally.
because they want to be on. So of course, he's been one of
Steve.
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 Of course, this man here has actually been very close to us.
Steve's awesome.
He's been around
I
with us since the
know.
beginning
Hell
Yeah.
when 210 Culture was just starting off.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's great to have him.
it is still, he's still number one in our hearts, even though he was the runner-up. Still number one in our hearts for, was it the best of the city?
Yeah, well, SA Current.
SA Current,
Yeah,
there you
SA Current.
Mhm.
I was runner-up in 2018 and got number one in 2019. So
Nice.
yeah.
You've been in
Okay.
the talk. You've been
So
in
he
the
is number
talk.
one then.
Yeah.
Number
Of
one.
course, Bui Vado, thank you for being on the show here with us today.
Man, thanks for letting
Yeah.
me come on here. This is fun. Looking forward to it. Yeah.
So, of course, for those who don't know, he has a bunch of great books.
Great books.
That we're gonna jump into here in a little bit. Oh, we totally forgot to set them up.
You know what?
Oh.
I got them back over here. I can
All
I can
right,
set them
let's
up
go.
while you get
Let's
it
all
going.
hold the book
Yeah,
and
no,
then show
stand
it.
by. I'll grab those.
He'll work on those in the process. So of course we'll start off with what we did over the weekend while he's getting that taken care of. Dom, you want to go ahead and go over what you did over the weekend?
Oh yes. So over the weekend, well, today is actually one of my little cousins' like birthday. She just turned one. Her name's,
Aw, how
Amaya.
sweet.
Amaya Papaya. Seward.
Aw.
Yeah. So yeah, we were on Zoom and we were all saying happy birthday to her and watching
How
her eat
sweet.
cake and all that. It's really hard, because it's like everybody's really affectionate.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody wants a hug, be around each other, but due to COVID, I mean, it's kind of
Hard.
it's very difficult to do so right now,
Right.
and we're kind of feeling the effects of it right now. Other than that, I've been trying to, get everything set up for, all our future shoots and everything, Other than that, I want to try to plan to go out to the coast like you guys.
Oh yeah.
I
was
mean,
fun.
but it's I'm a little bit timid because they just opened up the bars and everything, and
Yeah.
I've been like, man, I can go to my new spots. I'm like, my old spots. I'm like, nah, I don't. The second wave might hit. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I think I'll wait. So I just ended up going to Specs and getting my own bar at home.
Okay, so
Yeah, but now it's good to see, Southtown 101, opening up here.
oh yeah, I
I
know.
mean,
you don't have to go in through the back.
I know. I felt all sketchy. I'm like, hey, you, get in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
used to have to come in through the back or
Right
the
here.
kitchen.
Oh man. Oh
So
wow.
it was,
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're the new busboy. I'm like, no.
and of course, we got to go out to street fair on Friday. We got to try some big tasty balls.
How are those sweaty balls?
They were really good.
Good.
They're potato balls. So the one that we
Oh.
got had ground beef. One of them had ground beef and potatoes with Fritos,
Oh man.
crunchy on the outside. And then the other one that we got was the hot one. It was the same, but with cheese and flaming Doritos as the crust on the
Ooh.
Oh
outside.
man, I imagine those balls in my mouth right now, tasting delicious. That sounds
Yes.
amazing. Those
Very
are amazing
savory.
balls. It's savory balls
It's
are
fun-
amazing.
Well, it's
A lot
funny
of
too because they're
balls.
like they were talking
Were
about
they huge balls? Small balls?
they were medium sized balls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. prefer
Um,
medium.
But it's funny. It's funny because the owner's like just chilling outside. So then like when you walk away, he's like, "Hey, you want to try my balls?" You just watch everybody like, "What?"
What?
He's like, "Yeah, you want to try?"
I
try my
just
balls?"
got served your balls. They were delicious, sir. Thank you very much. Having those tasty balls in my mouth.
Yeah. So
Should do it again sometime.
Yeah.
yeah, so that was pretty fun. And then of course we saw Bob and Timmy's, which if they're watching, will be there after this.
Yes.
Pick up
We
some
will.
pizza.
Mm-mm-mm.
So it was a fun little Friday, and then of course Saturday we watched Double or Nothing. Mike came over. He made me some steak kebabs, which were nice.
Whoa.
Um,
Personal chef.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's what happens when you.
Literally.
That's what happens when the chef loves wrestling. You both get along.
Yeah,
Nice.
I was like, I'll buy the pay per view. You make the food. He's like, all right, deal. So he made us some steak kebabs and we watched it. It's pretty interesting. I'd say it's like it was an okay pay per view compared to.
I'm just
Fair
glad that they're at least trying to find a way right now, because just
Mhm.
like Dom was saying about this, this whole virus thing. The
Mhm.
water's so muddy these days, you can't tell exactly what's true and exactly what's a lie, and it's somewhere in the
Right.
middle somewhere, and you can't tell.
Yeah.
But my whole concern is that, of course, pro wrestling is even though it's a entertainment, whatever you want to
Mhm.
say,
Still
it's contact, and it's these
Mhm.
wrestlers contact, and it's fans in the crowd close together,
Yeah.
shouting and sweaty, and then you just think it's like, man, what's the
Yeah.
future of wrestling? Is this
Yeah.
going to be able to go down again, or pro wrestling, and
Mhm.
or even regular wrestling, like
Yeah.
even like jujitsu places and little dojos like that can't train right now.
Mhm.
So it's amazing how I just hope there's room for it sometime in the future.
Do you ever see that?
Yeah.
I think it was Joey Janela that he had the quarantine match.
I heard about that and I know that they did something where they were
Not
6 feet
touching-
apart.
yeah.
They were wrestling,
Yeah, they
and
were
it's like,
wrestling.
man, I say what you like about Jim Cornette. I still believe in his philosophy. It's like, man, come on, don't. We get it. We get that it's entertainment, but man, that
Yeah.
stuff, man, just
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I've become a fan of his watching more now. Mainly the complaints like when we watch AEW, like they're like, all right, he's gonna complain about this
Yeah.
come Wednesday. Oh, he's gonna do this. Oh, he's gonna bitch about that. Like the Stampede match, like everybody's been praising it, like it's great. I think it was like 40 minutes. I was like, he's gonna shit all over this.
oh man,
Come Wednesday, he's gonna shit all over it. Because there's a spot where they do, since Jacksonville has the pool, there's a spot where they start like drowning Matt Hardy, but every time he comes up, he becomes a different version. So he goes from being broken Matt to being the original Hardy Boy.
Yeah,
Then he goes in
Wow.
the water, and then he comes back again as version 1. Then they put him back in the water again, and he comes back up. But it was hilarious. But it was like annoying Jim Cornette. As much as he bashed the Boneyard and what was the other one?
Not AJ Styles. Oh, with
The
House
Fiend.
of Horrors.
Yeah.
House of
I
Horrors.
was like, as much as he butchered those, I was like, he's gonna destroy this one just because. I was like, but it was funny because the whole running gag was since Sammy got hit by the golf cart, they
I
just
saw, yeah.
they just kept like sending random stuff to run him over. So like it starts and Hangman's like on the horse and Hangman's just like running full speed on the horse trying to run him over.
Oh, that's funny.
So he's running through the stadium, and then later, like towards the end of the match, he's like, we won, and then you see Matt Hardy and Kenny on the golf cart, and they're like, ready for round 2, here you go, and they start chasing him with the golf cart.
I'm glad they're running him over, man. I fucking hate Sammy Guevara, man. I hated him since he was in
Yeah.
town. I gotta admit, he knows how to be a gag guy because he
Mm.
was such a prick, man. Here in town, I'd boo it, man. I'm so glad again. But he's good. You know what?
Did you meet him like one-on-one? Like, did you have conversations with him?
No, he
No.
climbed into the crowd and pushed a guy. Like I don't know if this was for real or not, but this guy was
Mhm.
talking. We were all
Right,
talking
yeah.
shit to him.
Yeah.
But this one guy, for whatever reason, really got it, and he climbed over the railing and pushed him. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, wait a second. And the guy didn't even lay a hand on him. That's what upset me. I was like,
Wow.
wait a second.
Yeah.
He can talk all the shit he wants,
Right,
but
yeah.
he didn't lay a hand on you, and you still came after him. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's when I was like, I don't like this guy. This guy's an asshole, man.
Yeah.
He was wrestling Lowrider, who's also, I think, still wrestling.
Mhm.
He was at a show here. Anyway, but yeah, nothing. I might not like the guy,
Mhm.
but he is a talented wrestler. He
Yeah.
is really. I can't take that away from him. I could
Mhm.
boo him all I want, but that's
Mhm. Just
he-
like MJF.
yeah. Oh man, MJF. Yeah, that guy is good at being a bad guy.
I know this was funny because we went to bar 501 like in like December,
Mhm.
and it was
Heavy metal.
yeah, heavy metal.
Heavy
They
metal.
were having their show.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
And my parents hadn't
good.
gone in a long time, so like everybody was just having a fun time. We loved it. My parents bought VIP because it was like on the top of the stage. So
Ah.
we're like really only they put us in the front because they bought like 14 tickets because like it was like all of us like as a group went.
Oh,
So they put
wow.
us like in the front because they're like They bought 14 tickets. We're just gonna put them in the front of the VIP.
Ah, nice.
So like it was cool because my dad was like right where they were coming out, so like they were like spitting and stuff, and then like there's a part where they were getting chairs from the crowd. So like my cousin said, "Here, take my chair." They were
Oh,
using
yeah.
his chair. They're
That's
out to the
always fun.
table, and it was like even that like that my sister's boyfriend too. Like he's like, "Oh, wrestling's fake," or whatever. Like he was, "Yeah, hit him with the chair, throw him over." Like yeah, I was like, we can get in. It's a whole different atmosphere. You can say what you want about
Yeah.
wrestling. But when you're there live in the crowd, and especially when you're that close at a small venue, like, yeah, you're gonna become a fan before it's over.
Yeah, it's meant to be a good time like that,
Mhm.
man. It's a
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
experience. It's a
Mhm.
community experience, and that's why it's like, man, when is it going to get back to that? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, I know,
we'll
definitely.
see. We'll see.
We
So
do have some comments. I have my mom saying hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
Hi, mom.
Hello.
We have Albert saying hola, amigos and amiga.
What's up,
We have
Albert?
Rick saying John Cena.
Of course. Of course.
he thinks I like John Cena for some reason. I was
I
like,
can't
have
see
no
you,
idea
bro.
why.
I was like, if you find, because he like found like that, was it the 4-foot John Cena toy that they
Yeah.
made? And
Okay.
he's like,
It's
here,
the
buy it
same
for him.
John
And I was like,
Cena.
no,
Yeah,
I don't want,
sitting
I don't want
it.
Cena Nation Cena. I was like, if anything, I want Thugonomics Cena. If you find what that is.
Yeah, the
I was like,
Dr. Thugonomics, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the one I want. And every time he sees something, he's like, look, it's John Cena. I was like, that's not the one.
Is that the one?
So he's just like, still, you want this one? It's John Cena. I was like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
I was
That's
like, I'm not
funny.
looking for the Rockers, Shawn Michaels. I'm looking for like my era Shawn Michaels.
They have like a little John Cena pop doll that's invisible.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. It's
It's like,
clear.
you can't see him.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Ah,
you
that's
can't
funny.
see him.
yeah. They made it like in a all like clear color. And yeah, it's the I can't you can't see me, John
Hand
Cena.
lifted up in
Yeah,
front of his face
yeah.
like that.
I was like, that's hilarious.
Good one. Good one. Good one.
So how was your weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good weekend. Very good weekend. It's well, fortunately, I work, here in town, and my schedule is Sunday through Wednesday. Fortunately, I am
Mhm.
still working, fortunately, from home, and it's been nice. I got to see my mom the other day.
Nice.
Finally took a moment. I was like, you know what? I think it's time to go visit mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been safe. She's been playing it safe. We've been playing it safe at the house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? Because we had a chance to speak with my daughter last week. She lives in Bastrop, and so when I went to visit her, I didn't know. Well, is she gonna want a hug? Because I'd like
Yeah.
to give her a
Right,
hug, but I don't
yeah.
know if I can or not. But sure enough, she came up, ran, and gave me a hug.
Mhm.
Oh.
She was at some friend of their families or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I think
Yeah.
if I'm able to visit my daughter, I'm not saying it's right or not. Because
Yeah.
again, we
Right,
don't know.
yeah,
We don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's like what the heck's going
Murky,
on. But I was
yeah.
like, you know what? If I'm going to visit her, then I need to visit my mom.
Yeah.
Because I know my daughter and her family now have been playing it safe with her family there in Bastrop, and I know my mom has too. It's like, you know what? I know we've been playing it safe at the house. I think
Mhm.
time to go visit. So
Right, yeah.
roll the dice a little bit, and we went, and it was nice. It was
Yeah.
nice to hang out with my mom
Well,
for
we
a
were
little
in
bit.
that area, and I mean, a lot of people that we've noticed aren't wearing any mask over
Mhm,
there.
mhm.
Like they're just, going about their business,
Willy-nilly.
doing like normal. And
Mm-mm.
me and him came in from here, and we were like, "Oh my god, nobody's wearing anything."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's such a norm
Difference.
over here that going over there and people are looking at you because you're wearing a mask, and you're looking at them because they're not.
Not, yeah, yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I have a friend that lives in Austin. He's like, yeah, like you can't even like sneeze in the car without somebody being like, why aren't you wearing a mask?
Right,
Over there.
yeah.
Or why'd you turn on the car? Like, where are you going? What are you gonna do? He's like, and then over here, y'all are kind of like a little bit more chill. You have the mask. I was like, yeah. Then we went to Rockport and we walk in the gas station. Everybody's just looking at us like, why are you wearing a mask? Yo, weird.
Yeah.
Y'all watch the news?
Then I found
Yeah.
out. Well, then I found out when we left that they only have like one reported case there. So that's why they
Mhm.
kind of like,
Right,
oh,
yeah.
it's nothing here. And I was like, yeah, you probably only have one because you've given it to everybody else who's left Rockport. I was like, it's a tourist town that they're not staying. The people that
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of like here in San Antonio. You don't go to the Riverwalk unless you need to because, or you feel like it once in a while because you live here and you're just like, oh, that's tourists. I'm not going over there. The same thing. They're not gonna go to the beaches right now. I was like, that's why you only find one or two cases over there. I was like, especially here in San Antonio when it started, it was all travel related when it first
Yeah.
started coming up.
Yeah.
I was like, so it took forever before it became, oh, well, it's in the community.
spread.
Because even then, it was like when they were still at the first like 200, it was like 80 were travel, and then the other 120 are people related to the people who travel. And it's like, so it never had anything to do with here, which is ironic, seeing how we were the first state to get all the people who were infected.
Yeah.
So you would
Yeah.
think we would have had higher numbers because right here in the base. So that just shows how good contamination wise we have been of.
Military
out.
City, USA, man. Everybody from everywhere is coming through here. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of iffy because I'm like, you got people coming in, getting shipped out, and I mean, during this whole thing, I mean, even with that containment of those people at Lackland, I mean, they let one person out that did a false positive
Mhm.
and or false negative, and they didn't. They said that they didn't have it, but they were a carrier, and then they went to North Star, and then that whole they had to close
I
down North
remember
Star,
that.
and then
Yeah, I
that's when
remember
everything
that.
started closing
Mhm.
down. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, if something like that could happen, it's just that with everything being open slowly right now, and bars say it's 25%, but after everything I've been seeing, it's not 25%.
Yeah.
Those parking lots are packed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than 25%. If y'all think, I don't know if y'all have seen any of that.
We have. We
Mhm.
drove. We were driving around yesterday, and we saw there was a Twin Peaks there at San Pedro because we used to always love to go to
Oh,
Twin
yeah.
Peaks. I
Yeah,
mean, we
yeah.
had favorite services.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah,
We don't
yeah.
know about how we feel about going now, but we remember driving by, and we saw the one there on San Pedro
Mhm.
Yeah.
was packed, man. Well, the parking lot was packed.
Mhm.
You can kind of see the tables
We're kind of
were
spread
kind of spread
apart.
out just with what I could see, but
Mhm.
still, man, I don't know. It's just
Well, with-
hard. It's just
well,
hard
with-
to figure
With
out.
them, it's a little bit harder because now they're at 50% because the restaurants are jumped to 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they're actually considered restaurants. So there's a 51% rule, which is
Mhm.
what decides what's considered a restaurant or a bar.
That's right.
So if you're part of the 51%, you're considered a bar, so you have to apply with the bar rules. But if you're under the
Mhm.
51, then you can go ahead and open as a restaurant
As
and
a
go by the
restaurant.
restaurant
So
guidelines.
bar
So that's why.
and grill.
So that's why like Twin Peaks and Hooters were able to open before the bars opened because they're considered a restaurant.
Yeah.
I
because of the
see.
51.
Mhm.
You know, it's funny. One of our server friends from Twin Peaks, her name was Kelsey, was talking about a hard time that she had because I hear that because it has to run that way. It has to run more like a restaurant and a bar. So there are
Mhm.
no chairs
Right.
at the bar.
Mm.
But the problem they were having is that people were trying to walk up to the bar and take orders. Like, guys, you can't.
You gotta
Yeah.
stand
Can't
your
be
ground.
here.
Yeah.
And people were hassling her all day. So apparently she worked the double and they were hassling her all day. It's like, no, guys, look,
Mhm.
I get that there's no chairs here and this is a bar,
Right,
yes, but
yeah.
right now you just can't come up here and order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was having to deal with that the other day. But
Yeah.
apparently some of them were also making good money. One of our other servers, she apparently
Mhm.
was doing really good.
Everybody
Really?
skyrocket sales, skyrocket,
Yep.
buying everything, drinks, meals, everything.
Yeah.
Like even the mall. Apparently, even though, everybody's a little bit hesitant about going to the mall is actually everybody's pretty hesitant towards each other. Like you're passing each other, you're like literally like making sure there's enough room. You're not breathing while they're passing, you can tell it's not gonna this is our culture. This is gonna be our culture for like the next year or two.
Might be a little while. It's
Maybe
gonna be a little while.
longer. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I do miss some friends that I can't even visit because they're a little bit, they're scared about this whole situation.
Yeah.
And there's family that I wish I could see, like my little cousin Amaya. I mean, I would like to give her a hug, give her a gift, but I have to send it through the mail.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's the smartest. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
wisest. It's the smartest.
But
Yeah.
I don't want the little kids to get infected. So
Exactly.
Mhm.
that's one
Exactly.
thing.
So time to jump into the interview portion now.
No.
we got
Interview
the
portion.
COVID part out the way.
The hot seat.
So of course, let's go ahead and start with the current books that you have out. There that you have displayed here because I can't see which ones.
Well,
are
yeah,
displayed.
I pulled out a couple here that I
Mhm.
that I have that are in the box. Of course, limited space, so I stacked a
Mhm.
couple of them. I guess the most recent title is one that collaborated with another local artist. I'll go ahead and pull this one out. This is the craziest book I've ever written.
The Harambe book.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one that bad. So as you well know, I hang out at. I used to do a bunch of little the art events, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
one of the groups I started hanging out with was, of course, the Bare Knuckle crew, but he had also Bare Knuckle Apparel, but he was also had invited a group of enamel pin makers.
Mm.
One of them is the Junk Ship, which is another good pin maker,
Oh,
but
yes.
but Bad Pins is the other one.
Mhm.
They always would hang out together.
Alright.
But this guy from Bad Pins, his name is Sean. He cracks me up. He goes, Ben. His name's Ben. He cracks me up. He goes, "Hey, Bowie, we should write a story about Bigfoot." And he started going off on this twisted and deviant story, and I was like, you know what? Let me. But what's weird, it was like, as he was telling me this, I was laughing at first, like, man, you're crazy. But then I started
Yeah.
thinking to myself, what's funny is that on Amazon, you can pass that down if you want to take just a quick look.
Yes.
On Amazon, when the Kindle thing started coming up, which
Mhm.
is the digital,
Yeah.
basically they make your books digital.
Mm.
Yeah.
People were realizing, well, wait a second, I could put out a 10-page book of something outrageous,
Mhm.
and I could get like 75 cents, like even like a lot.
Mhm.
You get a lot of money off of
Oh.
like people reading your
Yeah.
book on Kindle.
Mhm.
Um,
Really?
like it's like 75 cents or something like that per read or something to that effect.
Dang.
So people started putting out these weird Gonzo style stories of like um, cave woman versus dinosaur, and we're talking
Mhm.
what you're
Right.
probably
yeah,
thinking was going
Yeah.
down. Yeah, that the lady that's like Umbaga must save her
Mhm.
tribe from the evil
Mhm.
dinosaur by
Seducing them.
seducing the
That was the
dinosaur.
only way.
Yes, it was the only way. So these books became popular.
Uh-huh.
Some of my fellow authors that you know were like, I can't believe I'm taking so much time to write these great stories of you know
Wow.
with great detail and plot. And
That's
these
so
people are
cool.
making thousands of dollars, you know, every couple months
Yeah.
by putting out this, you know, outrageous stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when Ben was telling me about this, I was like, wait a minute, you know what? This actually could work. And I wasn't going to take a lot of time. I wasn't going to dedicate the amount of time I
Right,
do to
yeah,
these, of
Right.
course. If
Yeah,
this
yeah,
if this
yeah.
book, you know, I was like, all I got to do is write a 15, 20, you know, 20-page story. And I could put it out there and I could be part of that weird gonzo genre.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and did it. I was like, you know what? This will take me a couple hours to write. I came up with the idea. Okay, it's this easy. I did like 1 or 2 or 3 drafts because I made sure it was good, but
Right, yeah.
it was short. I'm like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
dedicate a lot of time to this.
Right, yeah.
The in depth. I'm just going to have a lot of fun with it though, and make it be completely ridiculous and
Yeah.
gross and sexy and but sweet at the same time. So it's Gonzo Bigfoot, and it's a story of at the end of the day, it's a story of love. It's about this professor, and again, this is from his basic idea. And I said, you know what, I'll just take it and I'm going to credit you for it. And we're going to go in this together as a little joint venture since you came up with the idea.
Yeah.
So it's about a professor who all his life has had a Bigfoot fetish or some sort of Bigfoot lust for whatever reason. And he dedicated all his life to trying to find the beast. And he ends up finding him in a forest outside of Kerrville, Texas. And he finally gets a chance to express his love to Bigfoot up in the trees
Wow.
over South Texas.
Would you be like surprised if a new story broke out and that actually happened?
Well,
Man falls in love with chimpanzee.
You bring that up. My wife posted this funny article
What?
just today that somebody, some hunter or something came out and said I was molested or sexually assaulted by a Bigfoot when he was out of the. No bullshit. She just posted that today, and I was like, well, I guess somebody. Bigfoot is just trying to look for love, man. He just wants love, like we all do. All we all want is love, man. So
I was gonna say, so I guess
True.
Jose's gonna go home, get a bubble bath, and go read on his Kindle.
yeah, pull up on your Kindle, man.
Yeah, Jose, what do you think?
I don't think he has a mic on today.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Maybe he's reading it already. No.
Probably.
No, he's making his order for
He's looking for it on the Kindle right now. That's what he's like.
on the
making his
Yeah,
order
he's
on the
looking for
Amazon
it.
app.
He's looking for it.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, there are people that are obsessed with Bigfoot. I mean,
Yeah.
the story, the mystery.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
it's
Maybe
been
even in
around
that
for
aspect,
years.
you know, it's
Yeah.
just, people are weird.
Yeah.
Plus,
Well, and I
mean,
knew. Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah,
with the
group of
quarantine,
people.
there's a lot of women that can't get to their waxer. So I mean,
Wow, rude.
Or maybe it's just a guy who never
Feeling
shaved. I
attacked
mean,
right
who
now.
knows?
I'm just saying, you
He's
never
a
know.
hippie.
You're gonna see it like at the San Antonio Comic Con. You're gonna see a guy and
Dressed up like
I'm
Bigfoot.
Gonzo. I'm Gonzo.
It's like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of his work. Where is he? Where's Bowie? He's like, oh God, he's dressed like Bigfoot. What have I done? I'm called Ben. Ben, look what you've done here, Ben. Look, they're lined up. This is your fault.
And then, so I'm gonna jump to one of these questions because it fits better now. So what it goes through the process when it comes to like writing one of these books? Like you get like the idea of
Well, it could come from just any interaction with the world, I guess. I guess I come up with ideas and concepts for cool things that I see or little different little ideas, and they're always sticking around there. And if they start to something starts to catch, I write it down, and eventually, I'll just develop the idea because I know some authors like to just write, and I'm like.
Mhm.
To me, that process. I mean, I'm not saying it's the wrong process. It's
Right,
it's
yeah.
art. When you're talking art, you can do it. I guess however you,
Mhm.
whatever you do to get to whatever your process is
Yeah.
because it's art. There's no
Right.
real. It's not like math. No, when you do this math problem, you have to do it this way, and it's always
Right.
this way. With art, you can do it however you like. So my process tends to be, I can have the story going around in my mind for the longest time, but if I don't see the end of the story, if I can't picture the awesome ending that I want it to be,
Mhm.
then I don't start writing it yet.
Mm.
So once I can picture the ending and it excites me and it's like, oh, that's badass, I want to get that done, I'll start to develop an outline. So okay, how am I going to get there? So
Uh-huh.
again, I'm not writing yet. I'm just developing the outline. Okay, this character, and so eventually I have an outline. It could be 4 or 5 pages worth of outline
Right. Yeah.
that gives me my roadmap. And again, I
Mhm.
guess this is why my process is different from other authors. Again, I'm not saying other authors are doing it wrong when they
Oh,
just
yeah.
start writing and then they say, a month, 2 months down the road, oh, I can't believe I threw out 50 pages of what I wrote and I'm not even going to use it because now I'm going a different directions. Like, to me, writing is like following a map.
Right,
Like
yeah.
we could say right now, hey, I'm going to go to my friend's house in Dallas, but you wouldn't just get in your car and start driving. It's like, I think Dallas is this way.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure. Wait a minute, hang on. Okay, now and then you get to Dallas. Okay, well, I think his house could be over here. You
Mhm.
follow a map, and the
Right,
outline is
yeah.
my map, so I know exactly where I'm going. And I don't waste any of my time when I'm writing.
Right.
So that's again, that's my process, and it's worked for me. Now people say, well, what if you want to change something, or what if you want to? Well, you can.
Right, yeah.
The outline is not
Set in
final
stone.
draft.
set in stone.
Yeah.
This is what I'm writing, and that's it. No,
Mhm.
because when you're writing, it's again a creative process. So something might come, oh, it'd be badass now. As you wrote something here, I could do
Add a
something.
note.
Yeah, add a note further on in the outline. Right here, this character needs to do this because of something that I just
And
wrote or something that
Right,
came
Right,
up.
Yeah.
So see, you can still use the outline. The outline still through the writing process even
Mhm.
changes.
Mhm.
So again, you add stuff into the outline further up, and then even then you can go back because I do my first drafts longhand. So I do it. I don't sit in front of the computer. I do it
Oh,
with
Right.
pen.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that way, even as you're writing, the story's like, oh shit. As you get further, it's like, you know what? I need to go back and make sure.
Mhm.
So I put a note back
Mhm.
in the text where I need to add this or I need to do something here to
Mhm.
make sure something that came up at the end that I forgot or I didn't do.
Yeah.
So that's the first draft, is following that outline. And you can even see my outline. Heck, I should have brought one of my current stories. I'm currently
Mhm.
writing something right now. The robots of La Lechuza versus the robots of death.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So, but yeah, you can see where in the
Badass.
outline where I've gone forward and already put notes or gone
Mhm.
back and
Mhm.
already checked stuff. And then my first draft, you can see where, I put a note in the margins because the first draft and the second draft is when you take it to the computer.
Mm,
Okay,
Okay.
now I'm going to type this
Yeah.
and add any of the embellishments or any of the corrections or
Right,
any of
the
the additions I
notes,
want to
yeah.
add. So
Mhm.
now I'm going to follow this first draft and type it up. Then that first draft, I take that out and I look at it on like a piece of paper like this,
Mhm.
and I start taking a pin to it.
Mhm.
And then that creates the fourth draft. Now that
Mhm.
fourth draft, I sent to my buddy. He's a friend of mine. His name's Bo Woodman. We grew up together. He's the guy. It's funny. I'll tell you this. My buddy Bo Woodman is the guy that came up with the concept of San Uvalde, Texas. We used to play role-playing games back like Dungeons and Dragons, and
Uh-huh.
there was a game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where you can make your own
Oh,
like
yeah.
mutant animal. And
Whoa.
he created this fictional city called San Uvalde, and I thought it was the awesomest. And I asked his permission many years ago. Can I use San Uvalde as the the background of? I said, yeah, absolutely, man. So
Mhm.
anyway, he's always had an amazing amount of imagination, and he loves books too, and he loves writing. He's
Yeah.
good at detail. So I let him take a look at that draft. So then he puts notes and it's like, I don't understand why they did it, or what is it? I thought he, put down his pistol over in the other room. Why is he
Mhm.
pulling it out now? Or like
Yeah.
he's the detail guy.
Right.
He's like, oh shit, he's right. You know what? And I'll take that draft.
Mhm.
And I'll do it up again. And then there's one more draft. So by this time I'm at 6 or 7 drafts before I'm finally ready for this.
Right.
And
Gotcha.
currently I have an artist out of Australia, of all places, who helps me with the book covers that creates these covers for me. I give him the idea
Yeah.
and I just tell him, hey man, this is what I'm looking for. I trust your judgment and your talent, and he does it for me. And so yeah,
Wow.
I was working with a guy out of Pennsylvania. His name was Joe Galley. God, I forget it. It's Joe Galley. Anyway, who was in Pennsylvania, lived in Pennsylvania for a while. I think a lady in England. It's so weird how I don't know how I got connected with all these people
Wow.
from different parts of the world to help me with
Yeah.
my book covers.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of social media and
Mhm.
the internet that yeah, it's all these different folks are helping me out with
Yeah.
these. So I've been doing this since 2005. I have about 16, 17 books.
Nice.
So these are
Wow,
just a
that's
few of them. Yeah, these are
awesome.
just a few of them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, and this one, yeah, the Legend of Elida versus the Mummies of San Uvalde. This is my El Santo and Blue Demon tribute. Kind of, yeah. Elida's a luchador who wrestles in San Uvalde, of course, and from Mexico. Um, there's a break-in at the museum, and he has to go investigate because not only is he luchador in the old
Yeah.
tradition of those Santo movies and Blue Demon movies, but he's a crime fighter too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah.
My favorite
Very
one
cool.
is the Sword of the Angel. I still haven't finished it yet.
Yes.
I'm like towards the end. I just pick it up when I remember, and then I get busy and I forget. But I've been working on that one. I'm almost done with that one. But
Glad you-
that one is great.
Glad you like that one. Yeah, that's a tribute to that one's kind of a tribute to my dad too. It's about a luchador who takes on his father's mantle, takes on his dad's mantle. So he is Espada del Ángel 2.
Mhm.
It's not El Hijo, I think it's Espada del Ángel 2, yeah. But he has a match in San Antonio. Oh, that's right. He's having a hard time dealing with the public because mixed martial arts and UFC is a big deal.
Mhm.
And so he's like, man, they don't respect me or my tradition or my father's mask, and he's like getting a hard time from all these people, and it ends up he's at a show in San Antonio here in town,
Mhm.
and the zombie apocalypse hits, and it's funny, after the show he's kind of not wanting to do it anymore, but he
Yeah.
realizes the people need me.
Yeah.
His father told him many years ago that you are the hope of the people, that this mask represents the hope of the people, and he's like, you know what? This is my moment. This is
Yeah.
where I need to defend my father's honor and this mask's
Yeah.
honor right here. This is my big moment. That's what my dad told me. So yeah, it's one of my favorite stories. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite stories. Yeah.
So Mike keeps being annoying.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
What's
What up,
Mike
Mike?
doing?
And he
Mike.
Annoying
says
Mike?
to yell on his behalf, FTR.
Yes.
Oh, the revival?
Yes. The revival, the revolt.
Oh, the revolt. That's right. Where are they going now? Are they in AEW?
Yeah, they're working on it. They're teasing it on their Being the Elite. They already teased it. Like, they're look at the sky, and then the sky said FTR in the clouds.
Oh.
But right now they're stuck in a cease and desist because in one of the other small companies, there's already a group called the Revolt.
Oh,
S-
wow.
And the funny catch to it is that they were friends with them before they went to WWE. So now they're like, how do you not know if we're friends and there, and that they like told them like, hey, let's we're not gonna go any legal things, just change your name, and they're like didn't respond back. So now they like stepped in.
Man.
Like they've gone on Twitter and they're like, in case you need shirts, we got about 3 years worth of shirts if you want to go ahead and steal those too while you're at it. So it's been a big old thing, but none of the Black was it Wednesday? Black Wednesday wrestlers are eligible till July 17th. That's the 90
Okay.
days. So till then we won't see anybody. But
Well, not that there's a lot going on either. So in
Mhm.
a way,
Yeah.
they're doing them a
so
favor. In a
we're
way.
assuming that Zack Ryder is gonna end up going to AEW because him and Cody are like best friends.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's gonna go. They already asked him about Heath Slater, and he's like, "Yeah, he's not worth it." But
No. Oh man, Heath
So-
Slater's actually he's all right. He's all right, but
but I think it's them. They're just trying to find that right balance of like not being a TNA and just
Mike
bringing
says
on
shout out to
Oh, yeah.
Pineapple Pete.
Pineapple Pete. So yeah, in AEW, since they have like the wrestlers as the crowd, there's a jobber they have there that has a Hawaiian shirt with pineapples on it. So Chris Jericho had been doing commentary for about a month, and every time like they would cut to him, and he's like, "Why are you showing Pineapple Pete? What the hell's wrong with y'all guys? You stupid idiot! Pineapple Pete keeps getting in the way." So finally, Chris Jericho had a match, and he like sucker punched Chris Jericho.
oh no
So
way.
he's like, "I'm on Pineapple Pete next week." So like it was a quick squash match. It was like maybe like 3 minutes tops. But they made like a whole thing that had like a whole vignette of him, and he's like, "You never make it." And then when Chris Jericho gives you a nickname, like it's worth it. And like they go through like this whole hype package. Like if maybe he has a shot in like 10 seconds,
Oh,
he
man.
beats somebody.
It's a
He's like,
squash.
all right, stupid Pineapple Pete's done. Let's move on now. Let's go ahead and go. But yeah, it was a whole like month of Pineapple Pete. So now he has like that nickname. I forgot what his actual name is, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm so and so, but you may know me as Pineapple Pete." I was like, dude, he's gonna make so much money when the indies start opening up and they can have the show. They're just gonna pay him.
Pineapple
It's
Pete.
Pineapple Pete. I
Pineapple
was like,
Pete.
but it's cool. I was like, because they were getting the local talent there in Jacksonville to kind of help them stay afloat.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
they were using a
Mhm.
bunch of jobbers there because like half the stars either have kids or they have the underlying diseases, so they couldn't go. So they've only
Yeah.
been using like about 10 stars or so.
Oh wow.
So they just kind of like mix and match them. So that's why the pay per view, I feel like it had a little bit low expectations because of that, because it was hard to build up everything. Like the Young Bucks weren't there,
Mhm.
or Hangman, they weren't there either. It was just Kenny and Matt. So they did like most of the matches leading up to it, and then the week before, like, okay, now we're all gonna just battle each other, the Elite and Inner Circle. But they had gone like 3 weeks of just Kenny and Matt, so it's just kind of like, well, why do they really have to do anything? Because like they were pre-Corona, so like they came out like the last show because they're like, where are they? We haven't seen them in like months. And then that go home show, they showed up and they're like, oh look, they're here now. So then they set up the match. So so they've been kind of helping everybody out, and everybody's still getting paid too. That's the best part, that they're not like
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
cutting them off. So
'Cause a lot of people don't have that courtesy
Yeah.
or that
Yeah,
privilege.
true.
yeah, they want to make sure they make $1 million profit over the year, so they let everybody go.
AEW.
Why can't people just make money just to survive? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're here, we're little people that are just trying to make it through, trying to make a noise out there,
Mhm.
try to make a wave in this little pond.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know,
So the last question I have left, because we kind of hit all of the most part, is when was it that you realized that writing was something you wanted to do?
I guess I've been writing a lot of times in my life. It was an important part of my life. I like books, first of all. I guess
Mhm.
I enjoyed reading books, and then of course I started writing stories. I think it would be called fan fiction these days,
Right,
because
yeah.
I have little booklet spirals, like 6 subject spirals, where I would write little stories, but I would use like pop culture stars like the Ghostbusters, fucking
Mhm.
Indiana Jones, Doctor
Mhm.
Who,
Mhm.
back in the 80s. And I would write these stories that I wanted to, it'd be cool if they did this, or if Indiana Jones did this and whatever. Again, like I said, now it's called fan fiction these days. So I was doing that way back in the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then something happened. I was living in Austin at the time, and I was at this job. Somebody came up to me and said something like, hey, so and so just got a publishing deal or whatever, and she only spent like 5 months on her book. So just so you know, you only need to spend 5 months on your book and or whatever you're writing, and you can get published or whatever. It's like, I don't know why that comment
Hit home.
affected me. Yeah, because I think I had done a little writing at my house after work, on the weekends, there on my home computer. I was like, you know what, I bet I should try that.
Mhm.
And so I started writing my first book, which was called Down the Road. It's a zombie horror story about this guy. His name is George Zaragoza, and he lives in Austin, but he's got to travel to his family in San Uvalde, Texas. So he drives down 35 through New Braunfels, San Marcos, ends up at the Mercado downtown here in San Antonio, where they have like this compound set up for protection. And it's a story of actually revenge, because it turns out there's somebody there at that compound that was murdered his fiance or something back in the so anyway, it's a pretty cool story. So from there he ends up traveling to San Uvalde. I won't give away the ending, but yeah, it's called Down the Road. It spawned a sequel called Down the Road on the Last Day, which was 2 characters from that story. They ended up traveling to Beeville, Texas, and they meet. The city had kind of protected themselves, had kept anybody from coming into their city. So they were protected, so everything was cool there in town for the most part. But then the United Nations is coming to Texas to try and secure the ports or whatever there. And so the United Nations comes in, and they have a battle with the people in Beeville, have a battle with not only zombies but the United Nations now.
wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
And then the third part of that trilogy, because it's called The Fall of Austin. So it's about some characters kind of from the first one end up back in Austin, and then there's a military group that goes rogue. I forget exactly how the story plays out, but they end up going rogue because they're trying to find somebody had stolen a bomb or some sort of bomb and they're trying to track it down. So it's an interesting story. It's an interesting, because there's 3 different. There's the military, there's the police, and then there's just some civilians. And of course, they all end up kind of together at the end. Their stories kind of come together at the end.
Yeah.
And that was one of the few that offered some sort of little hope at the end, because as usual, any sort of zombie story tends to be kind of bleak, and kind of like, well, what happens? Do they live? Do they die? Did they make it? What happened? So this one kind of offers just a little hope. It's not as bleak as the other ones, because the other 2 are pretty bleak. But So yeah, and then what's funny is that zombies end up somehow through all of my stories I wrote. There's another one, my weird western, The Cruel Fate of Dr. Brewster McGill, has zombies. That one's about a snake oil salesman who discovers another snake oil salesman on in his territory, but that guy's snake oil actually works because he's using an ancient Aztec relic that can raise the dead or whatever. So he wants to steal it from him. Anyway, so that one has zombies in it. Texas Assassins is yet another zombie story. In South Texas, it's about a Texas DPS officer who gets captured by a Mexican drug cartel and forced to become a sicario for him. So he's been a killer for him for a while. But then the zombie apocalypse hits, and his cartel boss, his capo or whatever, has one more job for him. They want to take over one more territory, but then the capo wants to go back to Texas where his family's at. And so he's supposed to bring him back into Texas. And then, of course, Sword of the Angel. Sword of the Angel has zombies. And it's so funny. I try to get away from zombies, but I end up writing about them. Oh, and the other one is Tejano Star. Tejano Star and the Vengeance of Chaplain Skull. This is he's a Tejano music singer, Tejano Star, but he's also a superhero that imbued with powers from some UFO. Like he found some sort of amulet that he wears. That he can fly and whatever. His superpower is the grito. I'm not even kidding. Like he go, and it like can just like
vibrates.
Yes, like it vibrates. It's a sonic attack. It's a total sonic attack. But his grito is a superpower, and of course he can fly. But this is his arch nemesis, Chaplain Skull, unleashes zombies there in Del Rio at the base. At the base there in Del Rio, and it could affect all of South Texas and Mexico, and only Tejano Star can stop him. So yeah, it's like it's so weird. I'm trying to get away from zombies, and yet I end up. Oh, God, all right, well, keep writing.
What gave you the inspiration to write about zombies, or what made you get into it actually?
Well, zombies, it all comes down to George Romero, who, of course, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
Movies.
Yeah, that holy trilogy. Night of the Living Dead affected me like no other movie when I saw it many years ago. Like KBB or KRT, you remember here in town used to show like on Halloween, they'd have like a week full of scary movies.
Right.
And I remember, okay, I'll kind of check them out. It's like Halloween 2 and Prom Night. And one night they had Night of the Living Dead. And I saw, this black and white movie is going to be like, Creature from the Black Lagoon or something like that. So, I was like, this will be cool. I should be able to handle this. And by the end of the movie, I was like, what the, like that movie hit me. The ending hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh my God. So that really is what got me into the zombie genre. And his 3 movies, started me into enjoying zombie movies and of course writing zombie books. So yeah, love that stuff.
Yeah.
But love Fulci too. You probably saw, I don't know if you follow my IG, zbfbooks.com, by the way, is the IG. But I recently got a poster from Gigi's Emporium here in town of City of the Living Dead.
Yes, I saw that.
It's not City of the Living Dead. It's Gates of Hell. Well, it was called City of the Living Dead, but Gates of Hell from Gigi's Emporium. And I put it up. It's like, oh man, this is so awesome. I can't believe I have this poster. It's one of my favorite. That was Lucio Fulci, who kind of rode the coattails of George Romero and created his own like a zombie horror trilogy, Italian zombie horror. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, the Gates of Hell, man, that poster in my head, like, man, it's so awesome. So yeah, that's what kind of got me into that. So, and thankfully, again, I kind of moved away from it. I got into mixed martial arts. I could pull out those books here. My Pit Fighter series. That's the other thing I loved of books. It's about back during the 90s when MMA was kind of coming in, UFC was starting, and it was truly mixed. Like it was truly, this is a 100% legit karate dude, and this is a 100 legit boxing dude. Let's watch what happens when they put it to the test.
It's like that movie Bloodsport.
Yes, man.
The Kumatao.
Yes, the Kumite. That's right, man. So it's about a bunch of groups that end up in South Texas and San Uvalde, of course. That's where it all, my stories are based in.
It's a secret organization.
Yeah, well, it's San Uvalde International, and it's got a guy from China, a kung fu guy. It's got a Russian sambo grappler. It's got a street fighter, of course. There's a boxer from Scotland, and there's a luchador, of course. El Aire, of course, is the one that's where he gets his first appears in my stories. So yeah, they compete in MMA, and it's fun. The first one's a good one. The second one's even better. I reread them. What's funny, I reread them many years later, and I got to admit, one was really good. I'm glad I made the changes I did. but the second one was really good. Very much like a martial arts movie, like a
Mhm.
Jackie Chan style.
Oh,
Like there's a cash
Yeah.
fight at the Honey Bowl in Uvalde, Texas. They're in the football field. It's a football field.
Mhm.
It's all these cars and it's a cash fight, but then the cops show up and like it's a Jackie Chan style chase through the
Mhm.
bleachers. That so it's a good time, man. It's a lot of fun. It's
Okay, so
a fun
Mike
book.
said that's me. Which one are you, Mike?
yes, please. Who are you? The Street Fighter? Budokan?
He's gonna say Jackie
Or
Chan.
the luchador?
He's gonna say Jackie Chan.
Luchador? Street
Well, because
Fighter?
he said he ended with luchador, then Mike said that's me.
His mask. Wonder what his
Done.
mask looks like.
Yeah, his name would be Noodle King. Attack.
Kung Fu.
Kung
Kung
Fu,
Fu.
duh.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
I don't know.
Hey, we were just wondering
You
which
might not
one you
wanna be
wanted to
Kung
be.
Fu.
Yeah, I thought you want to be a luchador. But yeah, man, that's really interesting. I mean, that's a wide range of like, I guess, books that you are creating, like,
That's-
martial arts, fighting, zombies.
That's literally what got
Man.
me to buy the first book.
That's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
superheroes too.
It's
I
not
mean,
the
Yeah.
same thing. That's great.
yeah, and that's exactly what I wanted to do because people are like, no, boy, you only write zombies. You got to keep writing zombies. Man, I don't just want to write
You
You
zombies.
want
I
to
want
be
to write other
vers-
stuff.
versatile.
Yeah.
It's like, no, the people that read your books want to read more. No, you know what? That's great, but I want to start writing other stuff. And that's why
Right,
I'm pretty
yeah.
much indie. And that's why I like, again, collaborating with like, Texas Beard Cartel, Bad Pins, the Junk Ship, Bare Knuckles, because they're indie guys too, doing it their own way. I'm 210
Right, yeah.
210 podcast here today. You
Mhm.
know, we're doing our thing, man.
Yeah.
Because I think that's that's just where it needs to be and where it's at, in my
Right,
opinion.
yeah.
Speaking of, I even have a superhero for San Antonio. Her name is the Violet Spectre, and she the characters from the Room 26 series.
Mhm.
It's about this girl named Lorraine Blacksmith who ends up taking control of the McNulty Museum, not the McNay, because of
Ah,
course we can't.
right,
Yeah, the
yeah.
McNulty Museum.
Yeah, because then they have to wait for their check in the mail.
Exactly, it's the McNulty Museum. Any resemblance to anything living or dead is
Mhm.
purely coincidental. But
Yeah.
her mother used to work there, and she didn't realize that her mother was once the superhero of the city. Again, kind of one of those things where she has to take on the, no, you're the defender for San Antonio now. It's got to be you.
Mhm.
And in the first one, she stops invasion of the army of Zulhutul, which are these ancient Aztec ghosts that could be projected all around the world. And in the second one, Room 26 in the Kaiju of Carrizo Springs, there is, how they're doing fracking in Carrizo. They end up unleashing a Godzilla style monster out of the ground, and the only person that can stop it, of course, is the Violet Spectre. So yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one.
Mike, you need to go to sleep. And runs into zombies.
I could write that. I could write that. That sounds like a good time. That sounds like a good time.
So, there we
Okay,
go.
Mike. All right.
Let me
start
guess,
writing.
Mike. His first name's gonna be Adam.
I don't know.
Oh.
Talking about Adam Page.
Adam
But he's
Page.
fighting zombies.
That's
Oh, Hangman Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hangman Page.
I have a random question.
Yes.
How do you combat writer's block? I might have missed this
Bro,
earlier, but
I was literally gonna ask that.
well, Donna,
question.
I'm
You
good at
beat me to
stealing
it.
things right
Hey,
from
you
you.
didn't even answer my question earlier.
What was your question?
He was
I
asleep.
don't remember. What
Okay,
was
well
it?
there you go.
That
Oh, the Gonzo Bigfoot. If you were gonna get that book on your Kindle app.
The Bigfoot looking for love.
Yeah.
I just honestly I must have missed this because I don't remember talking about Gonzo and a
it was
Bigfoot.
it was in the beginning. We were talking about how
Yeah.
it's about a scientist who falls in love with Bigfoot.
Oh, right. Yeah, I got to. I mean, who wouldn't want to? Who wouldn't want to read
Set
this?
up
But
a bubble bath.
He said hung man.
Candles.
He said that the character's name would be Hungman.
Hangman Page. Yeah.
But how do you combat writer's block? Obviously, you have a different topic for every book, and they're all very different in their own way. But how do you get over that? Is there a certain thing, or do you just kind of go about your day, and then eventually you just kind of like get in the writing mood and you just go off?
I think for me, fortunately, I think it goes back to I typically don't experience writer's block because at least from my understanding of writer's block, it's like, oh man, I don't know where to go from here.
Mhm.
What did I just write? Did I just write myself into a corner? And it's like now I wrote all this stuff and I don't know where to go. Excuse me. That's some some good soda. I think the way I avoid that
Carbonate.
is through the outline that I talked about, because of course I know the direction, I know what I have to write. I wouldn't call what I have sometimes writer's block. I would call it just sometimes motivation. Sometimes I'm just too lazy to, oh man, I got to write another
Yeah.
chapter. Do I want to go, go do it? My wife calls it when Gary the snail, there's some SpongeBob episode where like SpongeBob was supposed to do some sort of project or something.
Essay.
His essay, yes.
We use it all the time when we're doing essays.
And you're like,
and we go wander off, and we're like, "Aren't you supposed to be doing your essay, SpongeBob?" And we're like,
Yes.
"Fuck, all right, let me go back.
Gary the snail. Like
Yeah.
apparently
Yeah.
there was something where Gary the snail was distracting him from his essay, and he's got
Yeah.
the sharpened pencil, he's got
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
he's ready to go, but Gary the snail, like he's like keeps bothering him. So that's exactly what I run into. It's not necessarily a writer's block because I know what I'm going to write.
Right.
It's
yeah.
just when am I going to sit down and write it?
Yeah.
And again, that
True.
also goes back to me getting excited about the ending, like me wanting to get to that ending. Because the closer I get to that ending, the more motivated I get to. Like, oh man, I can't wait to see how badass this ending's
Yeah.
going to be. And, so
That's true.
so yeah, it's a good question. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for that question.
Definitely.
Mike, you might want to keep on watching because this topic you'll probably want to put your 2 cents in.
Go for it.
All right, go.
Go ahead, read
what
it.
topic
Okay.
is
Here,
this?
Liddy.
So we have Bill Miller among those adding COVID surcharge at checkout.
What?
He said I'm here. Increasing prices in meat sparked by COVID-19 has led to multiple restaurant businesses to add additional fees to prices by alerting customers with signs. Others, like Bill Miller, are surcharging at checkout and adding it to customers' receipts. A surprise at the drive-thru for some customers unaware of the added fee at checkout. COVID meat surcharge $5, one customer said. Food costs have been the highest increase in decades due to COVID-19 pandemic. Bill Miller's Barbecue is adding $1 to every quarter pound of brisket ordered. Other businesses adding COVID-related surcharges include salons and dental offices to help pay for PPE, personal protective equipment. What are your thoughts on businesses surcharging customers without their knowledge?
Anybody want to start on it first?
Well, I don't know if all the Bill Millers or if the sign got stolen in the process, but I do know through the drive-through portion anyway, they do put a paper in front of the drive-through letting you know that it's gonna go up. So those that are surprised that when they get to the actual checkout part are not paying attention when they're ordering through the drive-through.
Right.
I didn't even notice when we ordered Bill Miller's if there was a surcharge on ours. So Mike said, so meat prices have gone up 25 cents per pound. It hasn't gone up yet except brisket, but as a smart business owner, you need to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, literally, I mean, like with the grocery stores, I mean, they've tried to like literally strong arm us into buying paper products, cleaning products at a higher price.
Ooh.
Now, like I've seen this at HEB. I mean, or like even just other local stores, but like, I mean, it's not supposed to be like where it's like I used to buy a box of tissues for like $2. Now it's like $3.50 or
Oh wow.
like it's like that's crazy. I mean, they're strong arming us and paying it. I mean, I understand we got to pay for other people's, have to pay other people so they can survive and the businesses to survive. But a lot of times it's because they're trying to just get as much money as possible before
That's also what
Price gouging.
price gouging.
Price
Yeah, which
gouging.
is something that the Better Business Bureau is looking into a lot.
It's also supply and demand. I mean, you got the hoarders, at least when it comes to like toilet paper. Meat's a different story. I haven't heard of like people hoarding meat, but I do know there's certain like factories that are shutting down.
There are meat hoarders
with,
out there.
with the COVID. That there's certain like chicken factories and
Oh yeah, Tyson.
and
You heard
beef.
about Tyson?
Yeah, that they've been shutting down because they've gotten like cases of COVID, so they have to like shut it down. But that goes back to being the supply, because now the supply is
Yeah.
less. It has nothing to do with they want to price gouge you and jack up the meat. It's because now those places are closed. Now you're limited to the meat, so you got to kind of go up on it, because if you leave it at the same price, you're going to be sold out. So they know they're going to hurt for a bit, so why don't jack it up so they can use that to compensate for the time that's going to take them to open back up. So that's the issue here that I have with it. Same with the owners. I mean, at the end of the day, if you can afford to leave it at the same price, then I don't see why you need to
Yeah.
raise it, because
If you can live with that. Yeah.
like AJ's from Roosters, he's not jacking up his prices for his chicken. He's like, it's still the same. I'll eat the cost. Now we're talking about that you're gonna lose like 50% of profit because it's $18 for chicken and you're selling it for $9 and you're losing out $9 on that chicken. Then okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're making still $3-4 off of it, then you're gonna jack it up $10 extra just so you can make profit. Then yeah, that's where I kind of have a problem with
So
it.
like my
Yeah.
mijo, he said, "What's up?" Shout out to me and Brian Ramos. I don't know who that is.
Ooh.
And then Joel. And
Oh,
Mike said,
pinche.
as for PPE, it's a cost of business. That's like charging for a to-go cup. Now, will the meat go up? Yes, probably soon. But remember, restaurants are in the hospitality business. Having hidden fees isn't hospitality. And he put, it's that bitch Carol Baskin. And then
Dang.
Mijo said the price has to go up. It's to discourage consumers to purchase red meat. I mean, the way I see it is that as a business standpoint, I understand why there would be an increase in
Mhm.
price. You know what I mean? I always say, as a business, you have to make money. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
This isn't just like people complain how like businesses are opening or how businesses aren't giving away free stuff or aren't doing this or
Right.
stuff like that. And it's like, no, a business is a business. Like, as a business owner, that's your bread and butter, and that's how you pay your bills, that's how you feed your family, that's how you feed employees as families. And
Mhm.
so you have to make some type of profit.
Right.
Yes, I understand people price gouging and it being getting too expensive where you're taking advantage of people. Now that's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, business owners have to make some type of money. They can't just give away free shit,
Yeah.
and they can't just keep prices the way they are if they need that increase to pay their bills. It is what it is.
Or what I saw online, you can get some friends and buy a steer, and then you take it to your local meat market,
Oh, yeah.
put it in the
I
meat
saw
market,
that. Saw that.
and then you
yeah.
divide it up, and then you're good to go. Because I
Yeah.
think they said even if you were to do that, you would be getting it like for the brisket, how it's like $5 a pound, you'd be getting it for like 3 something a pound
Yeah.
if everybody did that. Based on just the
Huh,
brisket part
interesting.
alone, so that wasn't counting like the steaks and everything else of the
I'm just
ground
gonna be
beef
a
and
farmer,
everything.
guys. I'm just not gonna go back to college.
Hey,
Just
I'm
go
pretty
be
sure
a
farmers after this shit, they're gonna be like loaded with money because people are probably gonna want to do like a direct thing where it's gonna be people to farmers.
I'm gonna say they
at
need
this
to because
point.
that's where the problem lies.
Yeah.
It's the third party on the producers that they're having to shut their
Right.
factories down because the farmers aren't seeing a boost on this. Because I know that's what people were saying, like, oh, well, the farmers are getting richer off this. Like, no, they're not. 'Cause they already made the
No.
deal with the factory. Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna sell
They're getting
you,
paid a flat rate.
I'm gonna sell you these 500 heads of cattle for whatever it is, $150 a pound or whatever.
Mhm.
And they're set regardless of how bad it gets or how good it gets. They're set
Yeah.
like, at that
Right.
amount. It's the
Mhm.
producers that end up hurting at the end that end up having to make up the difference.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, so just watch out. I mean, no hoarding, people. Come on, like if you don't hoard, then maybe it'll be a little bit less. I mean,
Mike said, "Let's start a 210 culture slaughterhouse."
Oh.
No.
I'll get my
Community.
hammer.
And then eventually,
Oh,
and then when the
Oh.
zombie
No.
apocalypse happens out of that factory,
well, go with the guy that has the hammer
I'll
that
get the hammer.
I was gonna say, you're,
bashing
you're,
Vaca's heads.
you're gonna see Bowie on the roof of the factory just typing away. Okay,
Yeah.
then G died when the zombie ate his leg. Dom went with the hammer, and
Had a-
is- Dom, you still alive? I need to find out so I can continue writing here. Did you live?
Real life. That would be crazy.
But of course, we've hit our time. We can go
Yeah.
on forever. That's the best part of this podcast. That
Yeah.
right when it gets good, we have to cut it off.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. It's zbfbooks.com. Z is in zombie, B is in blood, F is in fights, zbfbooks.com. Yeah.
Is that really what it stands
Yeah.
for?
ZBF. Well, because originally the website was called zombiebloodfights,
Yeah.
.com,
Oh.
which is right there. Yeah. On the pad, even zbf zombiebloodfights.com.
Oh, that's
but
true.
what's
I have
fun-
a sticker.
What's funny is that I just reduced it to made it smaller, easier.
Yeah, makes
zbfbooks.com.
Mike? He said F as in FTR.
Zombie
Crazy.
Books, FTR. And of course, you can buy the books there through Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Mhm.
Or get them from me directly.
Mhm.
Message me, and you can get the price I would pay if you were at any of the independent little
Events.
events that
Events,
we tend to
yeah.
have. Yeah, you can get it just for that price.
So follow.
Yeah.
And I know you're a collector of vintage VHS tapes. Is there any you're missing that we can
Ooh.
try to help you?
Oh man,
Fine.
there's trying to complete my Master Arts video collection. It's kung fu movies. I have a few
Ooh.
more that I need.
Ooh.
There's not a lot of those.
Yeah.
Man, if I can get Lucio Fulci's zombie,
We need to
on
go to
Wizard.
La Purga. Let's go.
Yeah, you know, I miss going to the pool guy. That's where I would
Yeah.
find some of mine, man. But I think right now I'm good on the
I
VHS.
know.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yes, Yeah.
Oh well.
that's one thing I know about him. That
Mm.
I think
VHS.
so.
I don't even have a VHS player.
I flex all of those on
I
my
don't either.
my IG. You always see that on my
Yeah.
IG.
all the
Yeah.
WrestleMania
CBF
ones,
books. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
those are cool.
I have those
Um,
too.
So of course, check them out social media wise as well. He already gave it out, so I don't have to say it again.
Yeah.
But just
On
like-
IG at ZBF
Yeah.
Books and yeah, Facebook Bowie. I think it's Bowie Valeriano Ibarra. I think it's my full
Mhm.
name. But yeah. So yeah.
I like how we went through this whole episode and not one mention of the bunny that whole time.
yeah.
No one said a word about
Anybody
it.
want to explain the bunny?
It's Brenda the bunny.
Brenda the bunny. Yeah, Brenda the bunny. We're gonna name her here. My mom. Remember I told you I went to go visit my mom. My
Yeah.
mom has had this since just right.
For Easter's.
Yeah, for Easter's exactly. I have diarrhea since Easter's. But my mom has had this bunny since Easter. When all the shit went down, she couldn't
Yeah.
come in to give it to the
Right.
baby,
That's
so she
sad.
ended up passing it on to me, and it was in the back of our car because we didn't exactly know how to present this to the baby yet, to the grandbaby. So it's been sitting in the car. I was like, you know what? Let's bring the rabbit in. Come hang out at the podcast, man. Brenda, and it's Brenda the bunny now. That's your name, Brenda.
Yes.
Say
We
hi.
have a new
hello.
mascot now.
Get smashed.
Brenda the bunny. Brenda the bunny. Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, I don't know how she's going to deal with us realizing we got to beat this thing up with a stick because she even has the stick, the little decorated stick.
Yeah.
I'm out. It's like, you goddamn, you got the stick.
You gotta
too,
put a
man. Shit.
mad face on it.
My,
and then
uh,
maybe you can beat it up.
Yeah.
My grandpa, since he lives in the valley, he would go over to Mexico. So he got for my 1 year, he got a Barney made. It was like 6 feet tall. Like,
Oh man.
Barney
Jeez,
piñata.
6 feet?
So they said that when it broke, all of that broke off was like part of the tail, and the candy came out, but the rest of it stayed the same. So
Oh,
they said that they put it out in the curb to get picked up in the trash. He said not even within 5 hours, somebody came and picked up the piñata and took it off.
They had to
Because I'm
fix
pretty
the
sure they
Barney
just
part.
fixed the tail, and that was it. They
Yeah.
just
That's
fixed
it.
the machine and they
They
made a brand new
sold
one. So every year till we were like 12, we would show them whatever the theme was, and they took it to Mexico, and they were the life size
That's
5-foot
Wow.
Nice.
piñatas.
Nice.
And then like at 10, they were like, "Yeah, we're not doing it no more because now they're costing us like $200." At first, I think it was only like
Ooh.
100. So he's like, "I don't care." So I had Archer from Small Soldiers at the full
Wow,
size.
that's
I had the
awesome.
R2D2 that was like that tall.
Dang.
Like Taz too. Taz was like a full ass person.
nice.
But they said that first year, that one, all the other ones they like would break in the middle, but that one, the Barney, only the tail broke, and that was it.
nice.
And all the candy came out, so everything else was the same.
Nice.
I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's got the sticker there right on the eye. Right on the eye. They're hecho in Mexico. So you know.
Those are good ones.
That's where the bomb ones are.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, thank you again for being on the show.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks for having me on,
thank
guys.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Clap
Oh
effect.
yeah.
Clap effect.
Back to you all.
Yeah.
And like always, I'm G,
I'm Dom.
And Donna.
and for 210 Culture,
Bringing the best of 210 Nation.